Hello there, you're welcome to News Tonight. My name is Keminni Amanor. We're live on GH1 and its environs to return home after the explosion at the base ammunition depot. And later in business, we'll tell you how the Ghana Revenue Authority has clamped down on abusers of the transit trade system. We'll also go elsewhere on the continent, precisely in Kenya, where the president, Uhuru Kenyatta, has indicated all attackers of the siege that left 14 civilians dead have been eliminated.
Be fruitful and multiply.
A simple command made possible through sex. How are the physically challenged fulfilling this as the public perceives them as asexual?
Someone asked me whether I can have sex. Someone has asked me that question before, and I laughed it off. And as if that's not enough, somebody asked me whether men ask me out. But it's sensitive. I mean, if you ask that, do you expect me to feel okay?
The differently abled will not ignore the command in Genesis.
Come on! If the ladies are going to tell you, those ladies without disabilities who have dated men without disabilities, if they are going to tell you how strong we are, you will leave your husbands who don't have disabilities.
The sexual and reproductive health and rights of persons with disabilities on 17th January 2019, only on News Tonight. GH1 News. News you can trust.
Thank you very much for sharing your evening with me tonight. My name is Keminni Amanor. Let's talk about the Moment of Truth series. Now, the opposition National Democratic Congress has alleged that the beleaguered CEO of gold trading firm Men's Gold, Nana Appiah Mensah, sponsored the campaign of then candidates Nana AKUFO-ADDO'S and the NPP in general ahead of the 2016 general elections. According to the communications director of the party, Sami Jemfi, the NDC is highly informed that the CEO of Men's Gold, Nana Appiah Mensah, popularly called NAM1, had certain favors and protection from the ruling government due to the financial injection into the NPP's campaign. Now, the NDC is also alleging that NAM1 was aided by security officials and members of the NPP during his escape from Ghana. The NDC questioned why NAM1's passport was not seized when he appeared before Iyoko in August last year. So that was earlier today from the quarters of the NDC. Hours down that particular presser, the NPP is also holding a presser. Let's find out how the NPP is reacting to this. Then we'll come back to the studio and have a conversation with my guest. Evans Inkum is still a man on the ground. He's joined me via telephone. Evans, oh, well, you're live. Even better, Evans. Evans, tell us how the NPP, is reacting to these allegations from the biggest opposition party in the country.
All right, so Keminni, you couldn't have said that in a better way. I mean, it's a day of accusation and counter-accusation. The NPP has reacted point by point, every single accusation that the NDC early on leveled against the current administration when it comes to the matter of how the Men's Gold issue has been handled. In brief, what the NDC early on meant to say was that the NPP administration wasn't sensitive to the plight of the unsuspecting Ghanaians who had early on invested with Men's Gold, and the fact that the NDPP government also took practical steps to actually collapse Men's Gold. Don't forget that the NDC also alleged that a process that they started in 2016, that was when Men's Gold was actually confusing the system with as to whether they were trading like a bank or they were actually taking collectibles as far as gold trading was concerned. So the NDC took practical steps to actually clear that particular mess. But that did not conclude, because somewhere along the line they got out of power and they were expecting the NPP to also continue from where they left off. But they came and then, in their words, collapsed Men's Gold. In fact, over there they showed us pictures of where the bankroll of Men's Gold, Nana Appiah Mensah, had some level of positive embracement from the president, which presupposes that the Jubilee House endorses this operation. So the question that was quite rhetoric, that why should government turn around and close a friend's business? Now MPP has been reacting as far as this particular issue is concerned. What they are saying is that indeed they came in to clear the mess, because there are a lot of skirmishes as far as the financial sector is concerned, which Men's Gold was part of it. They came in to ensure that Men's Gold gained the needed license to actually operate, but the company wasn't forthcoming. And they haven't realized that investment of these Ghanaians who might have maybe doing business with Men's Gold was at risk. They actually intervened. But as it is now, they are still waiting for Men's Gold to actually do the right thing. No government agency or institution has closed down Men's Gold. These are the words of Waben Asamoah, who is the National Communication Director of the ruling NPP. But I'll be engaging Richard Asante. Richard Asante is the Deputy Communication Director of the NPP. One particular question that wasn't addressed has to do with your you being the NDC accusing you of being complicit as far as the handling of Men's Gold is concerned. You took pictures with them, talking about the president took pictures with them. That presupposes that there was some level of endorsement. That wasn't addressed well. How do you respond to that?
Thank you very much. I think that it will be wrong on anybody's part who would want to reason in that particular direction. It tells you the level of understanding of the NDC when it comes to appreciating matters. That is why in the course of the press conference, we indicated pictures that were taken by the former President Mahama with the world-acclaimed gay lobbyist and a gay rights activist and a gay Mr. Andrew Solomon lying on a bed with President Mahama and their husband, who is also a man. We gave the impression that would anybody be right to suggest that President Mahama is gay because certain pictures were taken in that compromising position? Is it right for anybody to suggest that? I mean, these are the kind of views Ghanaians would, the NDC and for that matter, Sami Jamfi would want us to buy into. It will not wash. The point is that this Men's Gold and the Men's Bank with the K and the C, all of them started during the President Mahama era and the NDC era. What the MPP has done at every point in time is to make sure that the laws of the land works. That is why when we came, we tried to make sure that at least all the mess that they've created in the various sectors of the economy, when you go to the National Health Insurance, there was a complete mess. We have to come and clear all these ones and pay. When we came, we saw that within the banking sector, there was a lot of voodoo economic activities happening and a complete mess. We need to clear all these things. We realized that the operations of Men's Gold, as it started under the NDC regime, was a major difficulty, and as such, the deposit of various investors were at risk. We needed to make sure that the law of the land works. That's where. All
right. So I'm pretty sure we're going to continue this particular debate in studio, because we have a representative from the NPP in the studio to also have a comprehensive debate as far as this particular matter is concerned. I needed some clarity, and you've done that. Thank you very much, Mr. Asante. So, Keminni, one particular issue that also came up as far as this particular press conference was concerned as to whether the NDC also accused the ruling administration, that the NPP administration, of not, I've mentioned sensitive to you early on, but you're also talking about the investors, or I'm talking about Ghanaians who have invested with Men's Gold getting back their fund now that the company is not operating. But Bobian someone said the president is not under any obligation, or the government is not under any obligation to refund these funds to them, Keminni.
Very well. Evans, thank you very much. Evans Inkum joined the NPP at its presser in reaction to an earlier one by the NDC. Now, in the studio with me are members of both the NPP and the NDC communications teams. Brojat Jemfi is the former Ashanti Regional Youth Organizer of the NDC, and Richard Ahiagba is a Deputy Director of Communications at the NPP. Good evening, gentlemen, and thank you very much for sharing your evening with me.
Good evening.
Let me take off from where Evans ended. Now, and I'll start with you, Brojat. Your claim is that the administration right now is not being sensitive. After being complicit in the matter, it's not being sensitive to the plight of those who may have lost their investments with Men's Gold. But you would want to look at the other side of the argument that, look, this is an investment. People knew what they were doing. They went in for it. Why should we use the taxpayers' money to refund their investments?
Thank you very much, and good evening to our viewers. First of all, these are citizens of Ghana who have done investment with a registered company, which was registered with the Registrar General, and also had a license from a government institution, the Minerals Commission and the PMMC, to operate a certain kind of business. Now, government had a responsibility to ensure that that company, goes by the dictates of that license. And the executive arm of government endorsed the activities of this gentleman, which led to many of these customers losing their monies. So you cannot turn around and call these guys greedy, people who did not know what they're about and, just put their monies somewhere. And there have been other examples. We mentioned the DKM principle that the NPP believed in, that DKM also had a license from the Bank of Ghana to operate, small microfinance, and then they stepped, outside the boundaries of the license. So the government of Ghana was actually instructed by the president, who was then a candidate, to pay such persons. Recently, the banking, industry, we are told that some directors, shareholders of a certain bank took the deposits of Ghanaians to invest in other businesses, misuse their money. So these monies were virtually not, there for the customers. Government spent 12 billion Ghana cedis to save these deposits. So you cannot say that customers of Men's Gold should be treated in a different way as compared to, customers of these banks and Men's Gold and DKM, especially when the activities of government actually endorse the operations of Men's Gold.
We'll look at that complicity, but one could argue that how many more of these are we going to come in as a people to bail out? Let's not forget, it's not just Men's Gold. Men's Gold is the biggest that we are talking about now. But as a government that needs money to do things for its people, how many more of these can we set this example for?
Elections and its outcomes come with a cost. The cost of changing the NDC for the NPP is what we are seeing today. You need a proactive government that would know the activities of many of these fraudulent organizations and deal with the companies by law. But you cannot have a government that has its institutions chasing an organization, and the executive arm of government deals with the same organization, gives it state protection, to the tune of getting armed police officers to escort these guys and all of that.
You're saying that the administration gave. How do you know this? Because as far as I'm concerned, I could get police protection if I write to the police and pay for it?
We have given about 8 evidences at our press conference, which indicates that the executive arm of government knew what they were doing and they were dealing with men's gold. So they cannot turn around and say that the customers should not have dealt with men's gold because institutions of state were cautioning them. The same caution would have gone to the executive arm of government. We have mentioned, for example, that the Entrepreneurs Foundation of Ghana awarded men's gold under the auspices of the Ministry of Finance, the Quality Award for 2017. And this happened in August 2017. Again, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, in collaboration with the same Entrepreneurs Foundation of Ghana, awarded the CEO of Men's Good as the best executive, corporate executive for 2017. The First Lady, who is the wife of the President, her foundation, Rebecca Foundation, dealt with NAM1 Foundation. They had a program called Restoring Hope, that they were dealing with hospitals and offering some support. So you cannot turn around. The Minister of Tourism went around on a nationwide tour with the CEO of Men's Good. They got to certain places where the CEO was even, accorded some chieftaincy titles. He gave some $1 million. Government is telling us that NAM1, who is the CEO of Men's Good, just followed Kwesi Nyantakyi.
What? Because his company had just signed a sponsorship deal.
His company had not signed a sponsorship deal. His company had expressed interest in sponsoring the Ghana League, which had nothing to do with the visit of the CAF president and the visit of the GFP president.
Let's hear Richard. Now, Richard, you've heard a number of things from him. I have my own questions to ask you, but react to what he said briefly.
Yeah, very interesting. If all the job you have to do is be an opposition and you cannot be good at it, that is very pathetic. The whole exercise that the NDC undertook today, led by their communication officer, Sami Jemfi, is very simplistic, substandard, if you like, demonstration of uncritical thought. It shows that the NDC is not ready for prime time. They really validate the reason why we say they were incompetent. Because if you look at the argument my brother is making, which is what they carried forward in that press conference, the conclusion of the matter is that the AKUFO-ADDO and Bawumia government are complicit. In other words, they are the cause of men's gold.
And they have given reasons why the...
Reasons that don't stand any test. You understand? So I'm saying that the logic they are advancing is not a logic that I would teach to my 5-month-old daughter. It doesn't make sense. How do you then tell anybody? Now they're advancing a new terminologies, the DKM principle. I don't know where that principle exists, besides in their heads, to say that DKM, which we rightfully said they must pay, which they have to do, and they did, because lack of
they did or you did?
Well, I'm saying the payment was
at the end of the day.
Yes, at the end of the day. And I'm saying that if you fail to do DKM, what you are doing is undermining the banking sector, the confidence that people have to bring their money to a banking institution and say, keep the money for us. If you didn't do DKM, then you're undermining that confidence. So you sit and you have people equate that to say that Men's Gold, which was trading, was supposed to be trading, but yet criminally taking deposit from people which they were not supposed to do and were not licensed to do. And Bank of Ghana warned the people, please don't take your money there. And you turn around and you are acting as spokesperson for those people. I think that if Men's Gold customers need spokespeople, they should find their own, because the NDC do a very poor job. They are politicizing a non-political issue to gain political mileage out of this issue. They are using Men's Gold customers for their end. And they are playing a false equivalency game with us to say, oh, you told us to pay DKM, so we are also telling you to pay Men's Gold. What kind of childish exercise is this? We are interested in helping our people in this country. To say that this individual who undertook a very criminal enterprise, we want him to remedy Ghanaian people. He is the one who should be paying, not the president, not government of Ghana. So if you are trying to advance an argument to help us solve the problem, please come to the table. You don't have anything else to do but to be opposition. We have to govern. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is this. If all your job is to be opposition, at least come with constructive ideas how we can help solve the problem. But don't be grabbing on straws, because everything they are saying shows they are not serious.
Still, I'd want us to look at some of the things they have said, because then if they were simplistic as you say they are,
yes,
then you wouldn't have spent some time on a presser to respond to them.
Because that was exactly what we did. We underscore how simplistic it was and address the issue that if we need to solve the problem of the DKM, the men's go customers, then we have to be serious and focused on where attention must be focused.
Granted. Now, what would you say to people who argue that, look, at the end of the day, if proper steps were taken in the handling of the saga, which is now culminated in the loss of monies of investors, perhaps we could have protected the deposits of these investors before the final closure of the company?
Well, you see, the thing is, one, there shouldn't have been a deposit in the first